The topic about cheating has made its way in my channel as well. I cannot remain impartial because these are stories that I hear every day from students. Especially now that AI is involved, this is a topic that cuts very close to home for me too. The reason is I work with students every day and I'm starting to see the results of using AI to generate essays, to just turn something in, to write the essay and get it done with. I know one thing to be true: students are cheating because every adult in their life has convinced them that this is not cheating at all, that this is all part of technology. They're supposed to know how to work with technology. It's what we all do. In fact, it is a good thing, is what they hear. It is not laziness, I can tell you that. It is just the permission that we have given them. Now I feel it is too late and almost impossible to change. I'm Ava, and I'm the founder of VoicED. I work with students, middle school, high school students, preparing them for the college admissions process. Today I would like to talk about something different than what I usually talk about. You will find me discussing college essays, college preparation, college admissions. Today, I would like to talk about something bigger that is happening in every single high school, in every single household. In fact, I even suspect most parents have no idea how deep this actually goes. Here's where things stand and where things are at as of this year. That nearly 2/3 of teens now use AI chatbots. About 3 out of 10 use them every single day. More than half say they've used one specifically to get help with homework. Here's the number that should actually really stop you at your tracks. RAND Corporation, this is a nonpartisan research organization that studies American schools and has been doing so for decades, found that over just 7 months from May to December of last year, more high school students are using AI for homework, and the usage actually jumped from 49% to 60%. And in that window alone, they have tracked high school students, middle school students participate in this experiment. While we were expecting just high school students to be the ones that needed help, now more and more middle school students are actually reaching for help with AI. Middle school students, the usage, the score for them went from 30 to 46%. This is not a slow trend. This is an accelerating month-over-month trend that they're noticing. This part matters. Over 3/4 of teens who have used AI for schoolwork say that kids at their school are using AI to cheat. What is even more astonishing is that our kids know that this is happening all around them. Teachers know that this is happening all around them. Even though this may not be happening at your kitchen table, it is what your child is watching and observing. What do you think they're thinking at this point in time? If so-and-so is doing it and they're getting away with it, why should I not save myself the trouble, save myself the time, just get the easy answers? That is how human brain works. We cannot blame them for trying to work smarter than harder. Here's what actually worries me more than the cheating itself. I don't need a study to actually tell me this one because I see it firsthand. Every day, every week when I work with my students, when I meet with them and when I work with them, my whole process starts with questioning. I brainstorm with them, I try to pick apart their story, I find the real moment inside a memory. I pull a thread until something honest comes out, something that we can work with. That loose little memory that made them happy or sad or disturbed, or it stayed as a memory, is where their actual authentic story sits. A few years ago, that always led me somewhere. There was always something underneath that to kind of open up and work with. Now, more and more, I ask those same questions. I get simply a stare, an empty glaze, nothing, not a flicker. There's no feeling, there's no detail they can provide, nothing underneath the surface to actually pull apart, to actually work with. What they hand me instead is an AI-generated writing, or they will come with a brainstorm and I can immediately tell that this is all very quickly generated, maybe minutes before our meeting. These sentences are actually not something I can edit. There's nothing I can work with, unfortunately. Here's why. I can work with messy, imperfect paragraphs they have that real human thought inside of them, some emotion that is buried in. I cannot work with a paragraph that never had a thought or emotion or feeling or any truth to it to begin with, because these are just words that are strung together, and what seems to be a perfectly grammatically correct sentence, there's really nothing to pull apart, there's no sentence structure, or rather the sentence structure is all the AI predictable pattern, which is not how people think, not how people express emotion. Naturally, when we speak, when we write, we vary our sentence structure because we're emotional. Our emotions continuously fluctuate as words carry those emotions, as words become that expression of our human experience, which is simply not how it works with artificial intelligence. Students who are not grammatically savvy, they're not able to distinguish the difference. They think that they're giving me something perfect, only because they really have no idea what good writing actually looks like. That is something that worries me too, tremendously. The lack of spirit in it, the lack of imagination, the lack of them in it all. This is what I'm experiencing. It turns out it's not just me noticing this. The researchers at MIT ran a study where they had students write essays. One group was using ChatGPT, the other group was using regular web search, and one group was using nothing at all. They're just their own thinking, their own imagination. They measured the brain activity while they wrote. The group that used the ChatGPT showed measurably lower cognitive engagement. Here's the number that actually got me. Afterwards, when they asked to simply quote a correct line from the essay that they wrote, they had just written those very words, only 83% of the AI usage group, 83% could not do it. They were not able to remember what they just wrote less than 5 minutes ago. Compared to that, about 11% from the other two groups were not able to recollect their thoughts. If you just think about the statistics, I generally don't like statistics, let me just tell you. I mean, I'll read the statistics, I'll do a lot of research, try to match numbers just to get the actual picture. Sometimes statistics could just be numbers rounded up for the research experiment, whatever it is. In this case, even if you just take the numbers as a ballpark, if you listen to this and let this sit with you for a second, these students turned in work that had their name on it. Most of them, though, couldn't tell you what the work was all about. That is not cheating in a way that we used to think cheating actually is. Okay, this is outsourcing the actual human thought, the actual thinking, and the actual learning that really never happened, outsourced entirely. We have the paper is being graded, the grade shows up, there's no real learning behind it, there's no comprehension behind it, there's no human thought behind it whatsoever. Now the question is, what are schools doing about it? I can see it. Schools are truly scrambling. It is getting quite extreme. Princeton, for example, a school that ran on a 133-year-old honor code with no exam proctors, just ended that system entirely this year, brought their proctors back because faculty said that cheating had become too widespread to trust the honor system alone. And in a survey of their own graduating seniors, around 30% admitted to cheating with AI. Some schools are going back to the old handwritten in-class essays. A lot of parents are supporting this as well. Others are adding oral defenses to the written work where you will have to explain the written work, and this is how it used to be long time ago, where you will be actually questioned and you will present, which is great because it hones presentation skills, communication skills. Some schools are actually moving into, in addition to the handwritten in-class essays, defending the paper out loud. They are also banning, in California, cell phones entirely in the classroom. They're also eliminating some of the technology that was earlier implemented, or only during homeroom. Different schools are taking different measures. It is not working as cleanly as we would like, we would hope, because again, back to the research, It shows the schools rate their traditional plagiarism policies is only about 49% effective. AI-specific policies even lower, around 25%, because a lot of the work is still taken home. There is no supervision there for most parts. There is also a fairness problem that is hiding here, because research is now showing again that the grade inflation in courses with AI-compatible assignments, average scores climbing by over 11 points on a 100% scale, with the bigger jumps among previous lower performing students, which means grades themselves are starting to lose their meaning. They're severely inflated, and it's a signal of what a student actually knows, or rather what a student doesn't know. Here is what's going on part. I looked directly into the policies right now at Stanford and Berkeley, and these are two schools that are about 15 miles apart from each other. They have a very different strategy when it comes to the usage of AI. At Stanford's Graduate School of Business, the default policy actually prohibits instructors from banning AI on take-home coursework and take-home exams. Granted, this is a graduate school again. Students are expected to disclose how they used it. Using it is assumed to be fine unless a professor says otherwise. Meanwhile, Stanford's undergraduate policy runs the other way. AI is treated exactly like getting help from another person, meaning it is off limits by default unless an instructor explicitly opens the door to using that. Look at UC Berkeley's law school. As of this past semester, they adopted one of the strictest AI policies in the entire country. I'm really not surprised that Berkeley is doing that. Students can't use AI to outline, draft, revise, or even translate anything submitted for credit. I think we're very grateful for that. It's banned outright in every exam. They can't even upload their own class readings into an AI tool. There are many reasons why this is happening, and it's not just for the purpose of educating students. Naturally, it is for the entire profession and the integrity that the law profession carries. For actual UC undergraduate applicants, the personal essays your students are about to write, the official rule is AI can help with grammar and readability. The content has to be entirely and genuinely the student's own. Every applicant signs an integrity statement saying, runs those essays through detection software, but here's the catch. Detection tools are far from perfect, as we all know. There's already a real case out of a Palo Alto high school where a student was accused of AI generating an essay based on detection tools percentage score, and the family is now suing the high school, saying the student's actual draft history proved they wrote it themselves. So depending on which building you're standing in, AI is either required, you have to disclose the usage of it, fully banned, or something in between, and the tools that are meant to catch the usage or the misuse rather aren't reliable enough to be trusted, or if we're going completely to the other direction, now educators are a little bit worried about actually calling a spade because all it takes is one lawsuit in California, being such a litigious state. What is the honest take here? This isn't really a technology problem. Your family does not have to think, we'll just wait it out. It's happened before there was Googling, then came the AI, then came the iPhone, and now AI. We have seen this before, and something will be figured out, and it's okay. What is the harm? They have to know how to use technology. This is really not about using technology at all. Your child is not reading any books. Take it from me. I can see it. I ask them to flip their screen, and I can see what's going on. It is going to show they can cram for the SAT and ACT. They are illiterate. That is the pure truth. There's just no way to sugarcoat that. It is that. It is already the norm. Your student is living inside this whole technology bubble. Whether you talked about it at home or you did not, whether you have some expectations from your child to limit usage, to read books, whether you have these conversations at the dinner table, whether they see you reading any books or you're just preaching, then you're doing something else and setting a different example. This is something for you to decide, for you to judge. What is your home culture? It is not really a will you get caught situation anymore. It is, the conversation really shouldn't go there. It's a who do you become if you let something else do your thinking for you. This is the conversation that I think we should all have with our children, using a tool to maybe proofread or challenge their ideas, not necessarily use it as a crutch, not using it to just kind of get the answers and run with it and believe it. These are the students who really are discerning and they can tell the difference. For them to be able to tell the difference, they need to have the knowledge. They need to have knowledge so they can tell when something is real, not real, opinion or fact. This is just really basics. This is the distinction. This distinction is really worth having an actual conversation about. I have a complete reading list starting from grade 6, 7, and 8 and high school. I have a complete list with resources for students who are preparing for these standardized tests. There's really no shortage of compiled information that can help you. You do not have to think. All you have to do is just consult the list and act on it. Even if you just pick up one book. I just shared a book with one of my students, and he's only a rising sophomore. I shared a book with him. I came back a week later and he said, I read it and I loved it. Thinking, wow, this is amazing, because this was some focus for him to sit down and read a book that is on self-help. The same books I have included. If you're interested and if you don't want to think about what is appropriate and sit down and read the book yourself or vet it, you can take my vetted list and you can run with it. I actually really care because I work with students and I see the difference. I see tremendous difference between curious students that used to come earlier, eager and questioning and willing and working and just putting down their thoughts and actually caring about, this is me writing it, this is my voice, this is what I think and I want my voice to be heard and to be known in the world, versus now where it's just like they have lost the spark, they have lost that very genuine teen spirit that makes them so willing to take adventures and hungry to face the world. That is all gone. That cynicism that sets in later in life, that spark that is just now, the freshness that is wilted is what I see, and it's so concerning. It is so, so concerning. Share this with someone who might need the list, or someone who's wondering where we're at with artificial intelligence or this whole educational thing. If you want to join me, help our students and to help the education and this future that we will also be a part of and we'll be observing. We don't want to have regrets. You can join me in that conversation. There is always the chat or links that I provide for you to get in touch if you should decide to. And if not, please give it a follow. Let's be in this together.